Hello Herzlians, and welcome to the beautiful Jewish Museum. And we want to thank the Jewish Museum actually, because I believe this is the 7th year in a row that they are giving us this space where our matriculants can exhibit their magnificent art. It is so inspirational and so beautiful to stand in front of this and see your talent, and it really gives us joy. This is a community space, so it's wonderful to have our families and our friends here to come and have a look at what you've produced. It is so typical of what Herzlia is all about, a space that is involved, inspiring and empowering.
This is my favorite time of the year. It's wonderful to see the maturity that our art students have developed over these years that they've had in high school. This exhibition is one of the best I've ever seen. Lots of it has got to do with exploration of identity, of conflict, of contrast. It's really deep and profound stuff that our pupils are engaging with. A real mazel tov to the class of 2022. What a fantastic way to end the year. Well done.
My name's Gabriella Doninger and this is my art.
This year I've worked in different media. In term 1, I chose to use tissue paper to create a portrait. The tissue paper was a delicate medium to work with, as it would easily break or tear in the wrong way, but its transparency allowed me to layer pieces and create a few extra varieties of colour. In term 2, I used charcoal to blend together a series of subjects in a stretching motion. For the last piece, I wanted to incorporate some of my relatives who have passed away into the piece, and to create a scene where they were all together once again. I used watercolours to build up tone on the figures, and then came in with the pencils to add detail and define certain areas.
My name is Tabisin Shishonga and this is my artwork.
This year I've worked predominantly with images of family. I'm interested in intimate connections between myself and those I love. I've worked in watercolour. For Utopia Dystopia, I went out in nature and carrying through the theme of childhood from earlier works. I placed a children's bath time toy boat in nature. I looked at the tension between the bright-coloured synthetic plastic and the natural tones of nature.
Hi, I'm Hannah Yankees and this is my art. I enjoy working in watercolour and with themes of nature. I've pictured a pink and orange sunset sky above an overgrown and untamed garden. I made use of watercolour to paint a portrait of my mother. Implicit is the relationship between mother and Mother Nature. For Utopia and Dystopia, I photographed 2 different bridges to represent the journey of human beings through joy and hardship. I think the tension between challenge and reward makes life beautiful. Bridges can break and can be rebuilt after destruction.
Hi, my name is Nechama Schulman and this is my art.
I have always been fascinated by watercolour, as it is soft and light, and I have drawn in other media along the way to help me develop and further my understanding of paint. For Utopia and Dystopia, I understand Utopia as an ideal, perfect and blissful world, and Dystopia as a society of suffering and injustice. However, I do not see them as distinct. I believe the one will always come with the other. I chose to take a photograph of my friend sitting in nature in between shade and sunlight. This demonstrates the physical and emotional aspect of utopian, dystopian bliss and suffering. I experimented with oil paint, but I decided in the end to use watercolour in order to create the looseness and abstraction of nature.
My name is Gabriel Seif and this is my work.
My exhibition follows a transition from traditional art mediums into more alternative and experimental photographic processes, tracing a journey of artistic self-discovery and an exploration into what it means to make art in the first place. I found that this journey has followed a path towards embracing the fact that it's often in spaces of discomfort that we experience the most growth in our lives, on the path to figuring out how we fit into the world. My final submission, prompted by the theme Utopia Dystopia, arrives as an introspection into the relationships we form not only with the external, but the relationships we form with ourselves. I found myself fascinated with our obsession with the binary of utopia versus dystopia, and whether the two really can be neatly distinguished. This work presents a conversation between the utopic ways we perceive others and the often dystopic and fragmented ways we can perceive ourselves.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Kahn and this is my art.
The overall theme of my exhibition is material exploration with an interest in texture. I explored and experimented with realms untouched to me previously, reaching into charcoal, oil paint and portraiture to find a language of art making that felt true to me. For Utopia Dystopia, I found myself really interested in physical intimacy. The language of physical touch is one that is deeply intimate and complex, filled with contradictions. This led me to think of the anguish that can be hidden in a moment, shown only as a desperate hug, an apology, a kiss. My final artwork shows a couple locked in a tight embrace, staring at the viewer, simultaneously confronting them and drawing them in, with no other knowledge. I added layers of impasto to remove detail.
Hi, I'm Luca Williams, and this is my art.
I have always enjoyed working in watercolor. I was drawn to it by its fluidity as opposed to the solidity of oils or acrylics, as well as the transparency the paint offers. The nature of the paint has informed several of the techniques that I have used. For the final project, Utopia, I examined the meaning of the word, namely no place. I explored a number of placeless concepts, from the idea of abstraction to things that were imaginary. I chose the path of imaginary things and explored a number of old childhood drawings, reinventing them. The final work was an amalgamation of two different drawings, a treehouse drawing and a hypothetical book cover from grade 5. The work's an expression of childhood fantasy.
Hi, I'm Olivia Diamond and this is my artwork.
This year, I've worked in oil and watercolor. The works of Ali Kavanagh helped me develop my understanding of watercolor with many thin, transparent layers to produce a backlit effect. When I moved to oils, I was interested in naturalism of the painted body, but rendered in an unbelievable pose. For Utopia and Dystopia, I interpreted Utopia as a feeling of intimacy and love, and Dystopia as loneliness. I chose to work in watercolor and painted two people in an intimate setting. They are lying closely together, but their expressions are pensive, showing a sense of emotional distance and introspection.
Hi, I'm Rachel Castle and this is my art.
This year, I have let go of my inner perceptions of what I think art should be, to find that creative space where my ideas and artistic styles flourish. When I entered high school, I believed that the mark of a good art piece was how closely it resembles reality. This belief inhibited and frustrated me, because no matter how hard I tried, my work didn't resemble a photograph. The irony is that the art that I was most drawn to, Claude Monet, Vincent van Gogh, Pablo Picasso, Lucien Freud, Paul Gauguin, and Peter Doig, was more than reality. Their art captured movement, emotion, and light through expressive use of colors and marks, and so I learned from them. This exhibition represents my journey of finding artistic freedom.
Hi, my name is Shaylee Kramaz and this is my art.
In Term 1, I look to combine naturalism and abstraction, drawing on the mosaic-type forms of Chuck Close. My second term project speaks to the connection between bodies and the earth, serving as a specific daily reminder that we are in fact mortal bodies. The flowers are not only a reference to the earth, but also serve as a reminder of death, capturing hope amidst despair. In the last term, I created an image of a woman looking into a mirror with the reflection of a younger version of herself. There is a yearning for youth and evocative melancholy. There is also a connection between mother and daughter that is underpinned by maternal love, but also by this vicarious existence that she sees in the manifestation of her daughter.
Hi, I'm Ethan Costain and this is my art. I've worked in different media, exploring the tension between abstraction and figuration. In Term 1, I experimented with smoke to create shadows and tones of a portrait. In Term 2, I used acrylic paints for this piece to render a natural form of a bird, as if it is part metallic or machine. For my final practical work, I looked at the relationship between graffiti and fine art. The portrait of the female I created in oil paint can be rendered as an optimistic view with bright colors. The theme of the hands that accompany the portrait is dystopia.
I'm Danny O'Lane and this is my art. For my installation, I explored aspects of humanity, some of which are not often spoken about. I explored suffering, morality, ideas of being broken, loneliness, and dread. I've drawn on different media, continuously changing as often as possible to find the best fit for the subject.
Hi, I'm Joseph Friedman and this is my artwork.
My work conveys a sense of disorder as a consequence of its abstracted appearance. The fragmentation and distortion of space has also illustrated a contrasting relationship between what appears random and chaotic and what is exact and precise. There is this unity and tension between chaos and order, between what provides a sense of logic and what seems illogical.
I'm Jenna Shorkin and this is my exhibition.
In visual art, we're expected to develop the ability to plan and document our creative process. On the contrary, as my teachers know, this is not my strong suit. but I saw this as an advantage. Throughout my years of high school art, I've found my style and voice as an artist to lie comfortably in the liminal space of spontaneity. I've allowed my artwork to develop in the process of exploration and takes away the pressure of expectations, but there's still a unified theme in the use of animals in different forms. The theme of our final practical piece, Utopia and/or Dystopia, meant a lot to me. My sub-theme was time, to explore the transitional period that one enters from school into life.
Hi, my name is Sebastian Dean Wales, and this is my artwork.
Tension is the meeting point of two forces, or it could be the point where two worlds collide. It can be the space where different views meet. It could also be the point where different forces change direction. But mostly, tension often leads to great ideas and beautiful things being created. When creating my projects, there has been tension between two sides. In the cyanotype, there is tension between light and dark. In the string installation, there is tension on the points of interaction. For the Utopia-Dystopia, the tension is between the winged hero of Utopia, who is conquering dystopia, or the robot head. It is about individuality within the system.
Hi, my name is Michaela Perkel, and this is my work.
My art teacher once compared me to a mad scientist with my art making. I think it's the best description of my style that I've come across. Throughout the year, my process has been one of testing and discovering and sweeping myself up in an excited frenzy around the process of making. Like a mad scientist, I've allowed the process of discovery to occur through experimentation. I've pushed each of my concepts in every direction until I couldn't see anywhere else to push. I worked on scales that terrified me. I explored media that was entirely new to me. I repeatedly flummoxed myself and wrestled through the challenge of being a beginner over and again. I feel that my overcoming the difficulties of the process is more significant than the result itself. To me, my exhibition represents ambition and excitement.
Hi, my name is Alexandra Scholl, and this is my work.
I never regretted the time I spent on my art. It was the activity I most look forward to during the day. The hours of actual blood, sweat, and tears that went into producing my art shows how having something you love, no matter how hard or time-consuming it may be, can be exhilarating. Each of my artworks is a story. A family of Burmese refugees that my family hosted in Seattle. My little brother and his best friend playing outside during a monsoon. And being home for Christmas for the first time in 11 years. I love stories. I believe they are the answer to life. And what better way to tell a story than through using glass, dots, and water?